Hello, everyone, and welcome to Total Packers with Matt LaFleur, Larry McCarren, along with the head coach of the Green Bay Packers. And Matt, lousy ending, but 13 wins preceded it. How do you go about balancing the two?
Like we told our football team, there's only one happy team at the end of the year, and unfortunately it's not us. And there were a lot of great things, but I think right now we're all still a little bit stung from that loss.
Got to tell you, I didn't see that loss to the 49ers coming, because watching you guys at practice last week, I mean, there was one day where the ball never hit the ground. Did you see any signs of worry or concern?
Absolutely not. I mean, I think we were all kind of blindsided by it. We knew it was going to be a tough physical game. They always do that every time they go out to compete. You know, just really disappointed. We had some critical mistakes at the worst of times, and it cost us the football game.
During the coming off season, how much will you base on that one game?
Well, I think we just have to find a way to get over the hump within the playoffs, and I think it's more about a mentality that we need everybody to have. Coaches, players, anybody involved with our organization has to have that mentality. You know, I think ultimately that is the difference in those types of playoff games.
Special teams, we do not have to go over the gory details. What's the plan moving forward?
Yeah, we have to get better, and I think we have to look at everything, every avenue, from, you know, players to things we can do as coaches to we will look at study other teams, but certainly we need to make up a lot of ground in that department.
You mentioned maybe even using starters in those roles.
Yeah, I think when you look at it, specifically when you get to the playoffs and you watch San Francisco and they've got their safeties and linebackers and Deebo Samuel returning kicks, I think you just got to get your best 11 out there to give you whatever advantage that you can gain.
Matt, I got to tell you, the last time the Green Bay Packers won the Super Bowl, at one point in that season they were 8-6 and had lost 3 of their last 4, and then they just got hot and won out the rest of the way. Is there anything to just getting hot at the right time? And if so, how do you turn that faucet on?
Yeah, I think absolutely. I think that I know in my only experience going to a Super Bowl with Atlanta in 2016, we were 7-5 at one point, and we got hot and won the last 4 games of the regular season, and that carried us on into the playoffs. So I think absolutely there's a lot to that. Again, we're just disappointed right now that we didn't play our best. Give credit to the San Francisco team. Certainly, I think our guys will be driven to come back and fight and continue to try to find ways to be at their best.
Matt, I'm sure our audience wants to hear what the head coach has to say about the whole Aaron Rodgers situation. The floor is yours.
Well, Aaron and I have had many conversations, and I think we'll have many more to follow, but there's no mistake in it. He's the leader of our football team, of this franchise, and we definitely want him back, and he's going to be the most important piece, and then, you know, you kind of build the team around him.
There's people out there that are saying the Green Bay Packers are headed toward salary cap hell. Is that totally accurate?
Oh, I don't necessarily buy that yet. Certainly there's a lot of things that have to happen, and I know that Russ and Goody are doing everything in their power to avoid that situation, but yet still bring back the nucleus of this football team.
Matt, with all the tough decisions you guys have to make in that regard, how comforting is it knowing that you have a terrific relationship with Brian Gutekunst?
Well, it's been 3 years in the making, and we've been through a lot together, and our relationship has grown and grown and grown, and we expect that moving forward. But I've got a lot of faith and trust in Goody and his staff that they're going to provide us with the players to keep us competitive, and as coaches, we've got to find a way to get them to play their best at the most critical times.
Thank you, Matt. Coming up, Aaron Jones. Don't go away.
He's got Aaron Jones, slip to the defender, 40. He's to the 35, and down he goes.
Total Packers with Matt LaFleur is brought to you by your local Chevy dealers. By Bellum Health and by Johnsonville. Welcome back. This one-on-one is brought to you by Pothole Frozen Pizza from Quick Trip.
Let's go! Let's go! Showtime! Leaping red! Touchdown! Aaron Jones! Loves it, right side! Showtime's out there!
Aaron, I'm not going to beat the last game to death, but during it, over the course of it, you set a new franchise record for running backs with 129 receiving yards. And of course, the cornerstone for that was that 75-yard catch. Give me the first person account of that particular play, please.
I seen the corner kind of starting to sit, and his eyes kind of came off of me, wasn't looking at me, and the safety kind of jumped Devontae. And I just kept running, and I seen A-Rod kind of about to scramble, and I threw my hand up, and I seen him see me. I seen us make like kind of that eye contact, and he threw it, turned and caught it. I think it was a big play. It gave us an opportunity to get a field goal right before half when we were just in a backed up situation. Definitely wish I could have scored that. If I go back, I would just try to run straight or get out of bounds. But, you know, I gave us the opportunity to kick a field goal, so.
My favorite Aaron Jones play, perhaps from the entire season, came in the Browns game because you're leading Alan Lazard. He's on an around. You're leading him, and you take Denzel Ward and you block him. Now, blocking in the open field is hard. You take Denzel Ward and run his rear end about 9-10 yards, almost out of bounds. That's my favorite Aaron Jones play. Do you remember it?
Yes, sir. I definitely remember it. Anytime one of those plays are called up, that is actually one of my favorites from the season as well. But anytime that play's dialed up, you know, my guys are always out there, my receivers, my tight ends. If you see one explode for a long one, they're normally the ones who make one of those key blocks, and they're just doing the dirty work. I knew Lazard had to kind of come from behind, so I was like, I'll beat him there. And I told him in practice, I said, hey, if I can get there, just know I'm gonna be there leading the way before for you to get to the end zone. And whenever I hear that play, I start smiling because I know I get to go lay it on the line for my guys who've been laying it on the line for me.
Aaron, when you met the press after the 49er game, I thought that was about as down as I've ever seen you. And I had the sense you were down because you and your teammates thought that this team had the mystical it to go all the way, and you weren't going all the way. What was it about this team that made you convinced it had the mystical it?
We had all the leaders. We had all the playmakers we needed. Everybody was stepping up, bringing the right energy, working hard every day. Everybody was committed, and you just felt the vibe in the locker room. The determination, everybody wanted it, and it's sad that we came up a little short, but I feel like we were the better team, and for most of the year, in every game we were the better team, and it showed, but we just got to get over that hump and finish.
Aaron, you've talked about it before, otherwise I'd probably not talk about it, and if you don't want to, just say so, but of course during the off season, you lost your father. Was playing football again, was that good therapy for you?
You know, it was, especially like right after it happened. I came out here OTAs and got with my brothers, just focused on football. That was kind of my escape. But then early on in the season, I kind of struggled. You know, I would go out there, think about my dad, kind of be in tears a little bit, you know, just because he's not there. I can't look up and see him. So I kind of struggled with that, but I would say probably halfway through the season, you know, that sadness kind of turned into a smile, knowing he's right there looking down. You know, we came up short. It wasn't our goal. I told my dad we'd win the Super Bowl, but I'll make sure get him one of those rings one day. And I know he'd be proud of me because I left everything out there, everything I had. So, and I know he's just up there smiling down, and he's super proud of everything I've done this year, and especially my Man of the Year nomination.
Well, In that regard, just last week, Matt LaFleur was asked about Aaron Jones. And here's what Matt said.
He embodies what we want Green Bay Packers to be all about. I mean, that is Aaron to a T. He is as selfless as they come. Certainly the things he does off the field and for others is well noted. He's an explosive player. I just think he's a complete player.
I'll tell you what, Aaron, your pop is very proud.
Thank you. Yeah, that's why, I was able to use football as an escape, because that was always me and my dad's place to go. I use football as that escape right away, so now I'm gonna kind of have to deal with it.
And that's why I say, pound for pound, Aaron Jones is the toughest guy on the Green Bay Packers team. Aaron, congratulations on another terrific season. Enjoy your off season, and thanks for being with us.
Thank you.
Coming up, this week's Chalk Talk. Don't go away. Welcome back. This week's Chalk Talk is brought to you by Network Health.
Zadarius Smith comes on the field for the first time. 3rd and 12, snap. Garoppolo. Now he's hit and sacked. Zadarius Smith right up the gut. Snap to Garoppolo in the shotgun. Tight pocket hit from behind. Sacked. Rashawn Gary. Just a straight power rush. It appears the Green Bay defense has come to play.
In just 7 snaps, the Packers got 3 sacks out of a personnel group they call Cardinal. That deserves another look. The name Cardinal comes from Jair Alexander, a former Louisville Cardinal, and he's lined up in the slot kind of like a nickelback. And actually, the Packers have 6 defensive backs on the field, Kevin King being the other extra DB. But let's focus in on Jair. This is his first football since week 4, and let's watch it. Look at the coverage. It must be kind of like riding a bike, because he looks like he's been there and done that. As a matter of fact, the Packers have excellent coverage right across the board. Rasul Douglas, there's Jair, Devondre Campbell right there, and Eric Stokes. Excellent coverage all over. Now let's flip the angle to see what's going on up front. And the unique feature of Cardinal is that it has 1, 2, 3 outside linebackers on the field at the same time. And then when you add in Kenny Clark, the Packers have 4 rushers who can win consistently one-on-one. And the guy we want to look at is number 55, Zadarius Smith. He has not played since week 1. And number 75, Laken Tomlinson, is the victim of a lot of pent-up aggression. And there goes Zadarius to score the sack. More Cardinal. And there's Jair. And this time he's working against the very dangerous Deebo Samuel. But once again, he's got excellent coverage. As a matter of fact, once again, the Packers have excellent coverage right across the board. Kevin King, Eric Stokes. We talked about Ja, Rasul Douglas, and over here, Devondre Campbell. Now let's switch the angle and check in on the guys up front. Again, it's 1, 2, 3 outside linebackers on the field at the same time. When you add Kenny Clark to the mix, the Packers have 4 rushers who can win consistently one-on-one. Now on this snap, the 49ers are paying extra attention to Zadarius, and understandably so. But that's going to leave one-on-one opportunities for the other rushers like Rashawn Gary. Watch him right here. The right arm stab, and he just walks Tom Compton right back to the quarterback for another sack. Good rush, complementing good coverage. 3 sacks in just 7 plays. Here's to hoping the Packers keep Cardinal in the playbook for next season. Total Packers with Matt LaFleur is brought to you by Network Health, by your Wisconsin Toyota dealers, and by Ticketmaster. Welcome back, and Matt, I want to talk to you in a moment about your rookie class, kind of get an update. But before that, you have an unsung hero or two from your team this season.
I've got about 10, Larry. But when I think just from a defensive perspective, the guy that really sets the tone for us is Rashawn Gary. Just his mentality, the effort and enthusiasm that he plays with. He's a total game wrecker, but a lot of guys have played off of him and done an outstanding job. Guys that don't get a lot of love, like Dean Lowry, aka the Rhino. He was pretty disruptive this year. Sully always does a great job at the nickel position. I thought Rasul Douglas, obviously the addition that he made to our football team. And then when you look at the offensive side of the ball, I think a lot of the guys up front, like Dennis Kelly and Lucas Patrick, Yash, guys that are maybe not as well known, but are kind of glue guys for this football team.
Okay, let's talk about that rookie class, and we'll start at the top. Eric Stokes, that young man looks like a keeper.
He sure does. He is a great competitor. I thought he was a guy that it obviously wasn't too big for him. He went out there and challenged some really good receivers throughout the course of the season, and we're expecting big things from him.
How about Josh Myers? Big knee injury, and he fights his way back and gets back on the field.
Oh, no doubt about it. He's got the right mentality. You know, that was an unfortunate situation there in Chicago when he got hurt. But love how this guy battled back and was able to play in that last game.
How about Amari Rogers? Certainly he had return responsibilities, but also some spot duty offensively. What do you think of his progress?
Yeah, I think that there's a lot more out there for Amari, and he's going to have, this is a big offseason for him to come back, and he will be one of the guys that we're counting on, really not only in special teams, but on offense.
Thank you, Matt. Coming up, the last word from the coach. Don't go away. The Last Word with Matt LaFleur is brought to you by Construction Business Group and Wisconsin Operating Engineers. Welcome back. Time for the last word from the coach. And Matt, you're going all season long, a mile a minute, 100 miles an hour, and all of a sudden it's over. That's got to be tough. What's next for Matt LaFleur?
Well, I think, you know, just trying to get this football team back together and try to recreate that magic, that camaraderie. It's a challenge each and every year, and unfortunately the tough part about this game is you build a lot of relationships with not only these players but the coaches and everybody involved, and there's a lot of turnover every year in the National Football League. So how do you bring back the core nucleus of your team and find that magic that we were able to create, winning 13 games and being a number one seed, and like you mentioned earlier, get hot at the right time and finish this thing off the right way.
Of course, this is the end of year 3 of Total Packers with Matt LaFleur. And here's my annual question, Matt. Have you ever seen the show?
I'm going to binge watch all 3 seasons this offseason, just for you, Larry.
Thank you, Matt, and good luck with Coach of the Year voting. If there's any justice, you're the winner. And thank you for watching. Until next time, take care.